generation game. Granddad Crow shows his 5-year-old grandson Regan what's what on his first ever day in the pigeon hide.
He'll have an immune system. No, not sitting. He will, won't he? A lot of these kids, they never come out of indoors.
We have 2 special reports. We make a return visit to see pest controller Barry Swain. Are the police now taking the threats to his life and his business seriously? Then we are out on patrol in the East Midlands, where farmers are fuming about persistent poachers. We've got news, we've got hunting YouTube. Welcome to a coronavirus-free Fieldsports Britain.
Run this way, mate, this way. Come in there. That's it. That's it.
He can't reach Crow.
I know, he's like his dad, he's got little legs.
I don't know if Dave would appreciate that. Oh,
it's a very special day for a couple of reasons.
What's a rhino sound like? Perfect.
It's the first time Andy's grandson Regan joins him on the pigeons.
I like the pose it's in.
You like the pose it's in?
It looks like it's going to scare the rest.
And it's someone's birthday.
Like you now locked in here.
You're not locked in, there's a door there, look. Here, here. Come around here. Here, here.
This is going to be fun today.
Come here. Put that down in there. No, he's a handful. He's exactly how I was when I was a kid. He loves going with his granddad. And it's going to be fun today. And those lovely blue eyes are. But yeah, so
he's... Where did you get those from, eh?
I wonder.
Oh, the apple didn't fall far from the tree, did it?
No, it didn't. No, he didn't. But no, he's been, his mum's been WhatsApp messaging me every morning, like FaceTime, and he's been saying 6 more sleeps, Granddad, 5 more sleeps, Granddad, 4 more sleeps, and this morning he was on the phone. First thing, he can't wait to get out. He loves it, and that's what I like. So no, he's been looking forward to it. So just hope there's a few pigeons. There's a few pigeons about, not millions, but just get out. It's my birthday today as well. So.
Oh. How old are you? 5, 6?
14.
It's 14, is it?
I'm 14 today.
Okay.
I'm one of them awkward ones. Gets birthday every 4 years. So yeah, so 14 today. So no,
Started shaving yet?
Just. Yeah, just.
So what do you reckon? I mean, we've aquaplaned over.
Unbelievable. It's been raining all night. It's been, well, it just hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped since end of September, really. It's a bad time for the old farmers. I'm in a better position than a lot. But yeah, the rape needs its fertiliser, but it's just not going to get it. It's just too wet at the moment. We probably need about a week's dry weather before we can even get on. Yeah, and I've been lucky in some ways and unlucky in others. We've had no trouble with pigeons this year. As a farmer, it's been brilliant because they haven't hammered the rape at all, and because it's been wet, it hasn't really done much growing, hasn't really got away. We've had no frosty weather to hold it back, which is another good thing, so that's saved us as well. So, but it's just in the last 3 weeks, there's been a few move-ins, and I thought, well, go out for a few hours today. Today's as good a day as any, even though it still keeps raining. But I bought an umbrella today, so if it does rain, we'll be sticking that over the top of us. I'm not into getting wet, you know me, I'm made of sugar. Do you like going pigeon shooting with Granddad? Yeah. Right answer, mate.
Within minutes of starting to set up, it's clear the force is strong with this one.
Then the wind gets in there and blows him up. See?
It goes all the way up.
It blows him up and then he wobbles about like that in the wind. Okay, want to put some more up? Here. Put him so it faces that way, okay? Here. Put it so it faces that way, okay? Push it in the ground. That's it. Do you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Come on, then.
At the moment, we don't know if he's going to last to the final whistle, but Andy's relishing the opportunity of him being there. Not because he was asked, but because he wanted to.
Keep going. See, the flaring head's gone. So then the next one's got to come out of one of these branches down here. So that'll be later coming, and it won't be as strong. The plan is I'll put the rotary up there, pigeons will come round, and we're sheltered here because we've got a wood behind us. They're going to come round, and hopefully they're going to cut straight through here, and the rotary will be on that side, so they'll come through and cut to it and make for. We've got a few big oak trees here, so yeah, a couple going through now. So
Quite funny being heckled today.
I know, it's lovely though. The only thing that upsets me is he's not going to have what I've had. Me as a farmer, I need to shoot these pigeons regardless, and I need to be able to go when I want. If the pigeons are there, I need to be there, and that's how it is.
Lots going on. It's been an interesting.
It has been an interesting week. If we get a chance later on, we'll have a little bit of talk about it. But I just. All right, we haven't shot any, but we will in a minute. Okay.
See, heckling. It's like, come on, pull your finger out.
Yeah.
With decoys positioned perfectly by Granddad and Grandson, it's time to see if it will all come together.
At the other end of the field, but I think
Cousin Gary is on a neighbouring field, and Andy has put bangers on the other side of the valley to scare the birds off the other crops and keep them moving. Regan is going to be Andy's wingman, handing him cartridges and looking after the shot birds. Andy will be shooting his game bore clear pigeon today, voted last week the best game cartridge of 2020 by the readers of magazines from the group that publishes The Field and Shooting Times.
He's still moving. Oh, look. Look. See where the pellet went, look? In his head, just there. He's dead, mate. That's just his nerves. That's just his nerves. Where? See, he's dead. See?
To the first deer we got.
Yeah.
At deer shooting, he sure got shot in the nerves, and when we were still there, he was still moving.
He was still moving, wasn't he, mate? That's his nerves, that is. No, he's dead, mate.
He stopped.
He stopped.
All the pigeons are going right in.
All the pigeons are going now, are they?
And now my pigs will fluffy.
Oh, it doesn't matter. People will be cringing at it, say, oh, he shouldn't touch the pigeons and he shouldn't be doing this. But it's how he is, and he loves it. And that's how I want him. He's... How he is how I want him. He'll have an immune system. No, he will, won't he? A lot of these kids, they never come out of indoors, and that's what people have got to encourage kids to get outside more. If there's no more like him coming along, who's going to keep it going? Another one coming. He's got waterproof trousers, waterproof jacket. That's all from Jack Pike, and it's brilliant. The children can go out and don't get wet and cold. They're more interested in doing it. If they go out and get wet and cold, it soon puts them off.
True, very true.
So,
Like me, really.
Is that mate? No, is he still alive? I'll give him here to Granddad then. No, he's not. Here, give it here.
Look. He was alive.
He broke his neck. Look, feel his neck. Feel it there. You broke it.
The last time we saw Andy was the British Shooting Show. It was an amazing weekend for all the Fieldsports boys and girls, and he's always taken aback by the reaction he gets.
There was one lad in particular, I think he was 7 years old. James rang me up, and he said, there's a young lad here on the stand wants to meet you. I said, oh, right, okay. So I said, we're over the other side, and this was early. So me and Michelle trundled on round there a bit quick as we could, and as I come round the corner, he saw me, and he come running flat out at me. He said, Andy Crow, and he just jumped. he just launched. He was airborne, he just jumped at me, so I picked him up and rubbed my head, and he was hugging me, he just didn't want to let me go.
Dad,
Yes, mate.
I need the toilet.
He needs a word. Cut.
That's sum up last week.
Yeah.
It's a steady day with some good birds. Regan is just fascinated by the pigeons. As the hours drift by, he just sits and plucks. And when the opportunity presents itself, Crow passes on his knowledge.
Cool. What a shot. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. That's a long old day for a 5-year-old. That's how keen he is. He's been here since... He's been here since... It's not funny, David.
That wasn't set up at all. The place
No, it wasn't.
littered with feathers.
He come over at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's now 3:30, 4:15. Just going to pack up in a minute. Just keep picking the odd one off. I've nibbled a couple off. Or just nibbled another couple off. So, but yeah, that's a long old day for a 5-year-old. Just sit in a hide. And
Long old day for a 48-year-old.
it's a long old day for a 14-year-old. 14 today.
Say no more. I think we'll finish it there. Well,
Yeah. No, it's been a great.
Happy birthday.
Cheers, David. Right, let's state of you, mate. Here.
Who needs Rosa when you have a Regan? He's off, running and retrieving. Then there's making sure that the birds are presented well, one at a time. Some things are learned, others come naturally. We don't think there's any denying that this little chap is an obvious natural.
Turn it back on!
You turned it back on?
Yeah.
I turned it off.
A day to remember, and happy 14th birthday, Andy. Right from youthful charm to a young offender. Dark past. It's David on the Fieldsports channel, News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Last week's lead announcement has descended into chaos. On Monday, the 24th of February 2020, the Times newspaper and Fieldsports Channel released the news that 9 shooting and landowning organisations want lead and single-use plastics phased out of game shooting by 2025. On Friday, the cartridge company said that was impossible. One of the shooting organisations, SACS, broke ranks and said it would review the advice it had received from the others. BASC put out a statement on the same day, apparently backing part of the cartridge company's statement. Then Monday this week, BASC put out another statement saying the cartridge companies are wrong. Read the full story on our website. A top government aide has sparked controversy by suggesting that Britain doesn't need farms. That's according to leaked emails obtained by the Mail on Sunday. Tim Lunig, advisor to Chancellor Rishi Sunak, insists the food sector, including agriculture and fisheries, is not critically important to the UK economy. According to the Mail, he suggests Britain should follow Singapore, a tiny Southeast Asian island that imports almost all of its food and water. Downing Street said Lunig's comments were not government policy. Previously, Lunig has suggested stopping government for northern cities so residents move south, an idea David Cameron, Prime Minister at the time, called balmy. And the UK Labour Party's ideas are just as questionable. The party has been slammed for trying to change the agriculture bill, so financial assistance is withdrawn from farmers who carry out pest control. Shadow DEFRA Secretary Luke Pollard said there should be no financial assistance for land that has or will be used for hunting. The proposal was thrown out by the Agriculture Bill Committee last Thursday. Sir Ranulph Fiennes is a national treasure until it comes to hunting. Then he becomes Sir Ranulph Fibbs. With Eduardo Concalves of the Campaign Against Trophy Hunting, Sir Ran took to Sky News to try and encourage the UK government to ban hunting trophy imports, even though that would harm conservation efforts across the world.
A human being with just a minimum knowledge of how nature works would say, this cannot be right. I mean, how would this make anything easier? It's cruelty to animals, sure, if it happened, but it never happened.
For more on this story, Charlie recorded a podcast with Jens Erik Hoeg of the Nordic Safari Club about Sir Ran's mistakes and downright lies. Link in the description below. Surrey Traditional Rabbit Control issued a desperate plea at the weekend for the return of their ferrets. The centre said hunt sabs walking past gave abuse, trashed our nets and grabbed a box full of ferrets, then ran away. It appealed to anyone who might know where the animals are, saying they're much-loved family pets. The post on Facebook was shared more than 3,000 times and it got results. The furry fellas were safely returned on Sunday evening. Thanks to Gemma Moore for that tip. An alleged hunt saboteur has been arrested and charged with assault. According to the Countryside Alliance, the woman was charged with assault occasioning actual bodily harm after an incident near Pillerton Priors in Warwickshire on the 22nd of February. Video of a hunt on the day appeared to show 7 masked sabs interrupting trail hunting activities. The woman was arrested at the scene and is due in court next month. West Midlands hunt saboteurs said the hunt made false allegations and counterclaimed that stewards assaulted their members. The angler, Marina Gibson, says she's a victim of online abuse. Marina says a person or people have been setting up fake accounts on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram and have been trolling her for months. They've also targeted people, lodges and companies she's worked with, hitting them with bad reviews and what she calls horrible comments, leading to ratings slumps. Marina also complained that Facebook won't do anything about it. Since the post, she's been overwhelmed with positive reviews from followers. Dozens of feral chickens have been culled on Jersey because they were too noisy. 65 birds were shot by a pest controller after nuisance complaints from locals, according to the BBC. Some of the islanders objected to the persistent scratching and the chickens wandering into rural lanes. The chickens are thought to have been dumped across Jersey. The BBC quoted an assistant minister for the environment who said that chickens have been culled for decades, calling it a necessary evil. Critics of the cull say the chickens brought character to the area. A man investigating big cat sightings across Britain is convinced they exist. Frank Tunbridge has spent decades looking for the animals. He says they eat mice, voles and muntjac deer. The 73-year-old says there are up to 24 sightings a week by police, gamekeepers and farmers. He says most people don't believe it and points to the lack of evidence like clear photographs, carcasses or the fact none has ever been captured. He told the Gloucester Review that a Labrador-sized big cat would have a territory of about 100 miles. Thanks to Steve Kearney for the story. Parts of Killarney National Park and Killarney Golf and Fishing Club have been closed for a deer cull. The cull is expected to last until the middle of the month. Last year, parks officials estimated there are about 900 reds and 500 sika in the area. Recent culls have been prompted by damage to woodland and collisions with cars, including at least 2 deaths. David Nolan let us know about the story. The Scottish Government's mass cull of Scottish deer is producing a dividend for one company. A Dundee firm has struck a huge deal to buy wild Scottish venison. The 5-year £13 million agreement with government agency Forestry and Land Scotland means 97% of deer culled by FLS will be turned into venison products. Highland Game, Britain's biggest venison producer, will be getting about 1,000 tonnes of venison a year from around 39,000 carcasses, according to the BBC. American celebrity Amber Pike provoked tabloid outrage when she posed with a deer. The Sun complains that the Love is Blind star and former tank mechanic is a hunting enthusiast after sifting through her social media posts from 6 years ago. The paper claims that horrified viewers discovered a snap from a 2014 hunting trip of Amber next to the carcass and dressed in camouflage gear. Reality TV show fans left offensive comments for Amber. South Australia has approved a cull of southern hairy-nosed wombats. An unknown number of the chubby creatures will be culled on a farm on York Peninsula under laws allowing the control of abundant wildlife if it's causing damage. The cull comes a month after neighbouring Victoria State's government scrapped a 23-year-old law classifying wombats as an unprotected species. South Australia's Department of Environment and Water refused to say what the wombats were damaging or how they would be culled. In Victoria, officials have announced a shorter than normal duck season. The state government says the restricted season was a necessary response to the long drought that led to low duck numbers. Duck shooters are furious and had been campaigning last year with the hashtag #WeKnowWhereTheDucks The 2020 season starts on the 2nd of May and will last 5 weeks. Hunters will be restricted to 3 game ducks a day, and hunting blue-winged shovelers is prohibited all season. The world's most famous dog sled race has been dumped by Alaska Airlines. Pressure from PETA protesters have apparently stopped the carrier supporting the Iditarod, ending a 40-year sponsorship. PETA took credit for the decision, which comes amid a lull in air travel due to coronavirus and flight shaming. The group said it sent a box of dog-shaped vegan chocolates to the company. This year's Iditarod starts in Anchorage on Saturday. Kids in a New Zealand community have been getting hands-on experience at pest control. Hunting is popular in the small Bay of Plenty town of Opotiki. So much so, it organises regular shooting events for under-16s. At the weekend, children and teens competed to bag as many possums, magpies and rabbits as they could. The website for the event said the competition was all about getting out there and giving it a go. It was started 3 years ago by a group of hunting mums. Animal rights activists have torn down the boar-proof fence on the border between Germany and Denmark. The barrier was designed to contain African swine fever and stop German boars migrating to Denmark. The World Wildlife Fund, WWF, had complained about the fence to the European Union. About 22 metres of fencing near the Danish town of Elhoft was taken down by a previously unknown group, which said it wanted free movement of all living beings. Danish and German police are investigating. Thanks, or as they say in Sweden, tack to Per Holmseth. And finally, a deer stuck in a gate was released thanks to kitchen skills. The RSPCA was called in to rescue the deer that tried to run through the bars on the gate. Pedestrians called the charity after spotting the trapped animal in Sutton Coldfield. Animal Collection Officer Catherine Strawford rushed to the scene armed with washing up liquid, which she rubbed into the deer's fur. She then spent 20 minutes easing the animal through the bars. Once free, she cleaned its wounds and let it go back into the wild. You could say it made a clean break. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. There's more news on the front page of our website. Click on the link in the description below. Next up, Barry Swain, whose story we covered a couple of weeks ago. He has been dragged through the press and his business targeted for providing a legitimate pest control service. Our news editor, Ben O'Rourke, has this.
If this battle is lost, the shooting community will have bigger battles coming.
Plumber Barry Swain has been pushed to the edge. Aunties have been harassing him for months because of his part-time pest control job, killing Canadian geese on a Leeds farm. But he's been given a morale boost after we highlighted his cause in a video in mid-February.
I felt like when the video was done that I was actually getting some support at last, because I've been fighting this for a long time on my own. There was quite a lot of posts on Fieldsports channel, very good, informative posts, all on my side, which I thank everybody for.
In return, he's offered advice he follows himself that could help end months of torment.
I recommend it. Everybody and anybody that goes out shooting always has a camera on them. If you're doing anything of any kind of shooting that you have the slightest increment that there may be some comeback on this, press record.
In our first video, we showed how aunties broke the law by preventing Barry from shooting the geese, which carry diseases that are potentially deadly for cattle grazing on the polluted pastures.
In the summer, you can't put a blanket down to have a picnic without laying in poop. So when the cows are actually let out to eat in the pasture, they're actually going to be licking, eating Canada geese excrement. There's no natural predator for these animals. They are as tough as old nails to kill. So I've known one to fly 100 yards from a chest shot.
Making matters worse are aunties armed with sirens and social media accounts who successfully campaigned for a boycott on Barry's business, making it virtually impossible for him to earn a living or protect the farm from pests.
If you educate them and tell them, they still are not interested, because the vegan movement, everything you buy, we kill to protect vegetables. Pigeons, rabbits, and we kill them to protect the vegetarian food. Me and my family only eat 1 cow a year. So that's 1 animal. How many animals are killed to protect a field full of cabbages?
Our previous video also saw him complain about the apparent lack of police action in dealing with law-breaking aunties.
Any tiny, stupid accusation is being made by an auntie, the police believe them before they believe me. After the video from Fieldsports channel and the evidence that I've been constantly streaming, the police have seem to be slowly coming on board. I've had police officers ring me, asking me, how do we find this information? And I send them down the general licensing, and then they say, but there's so much here. What do we learn? I said, join my world.
While the aunties have been generously providing the public with Barry's personal details, he's sticking to the law and is tight-lipped about the people persecuting him, even after one crossed a line in late February.
So he followed us along a railway line crossing. When I turned round, he basically walked himself right up to me and shoved his camera in my face.
Thank you very much. Harassment. Harassment? Oh, it is. You will be finding out, sir.
Don't get involved.
No, I'm not getting involved.
He did touch me with his phone. I believe it's like a minor assault. They try and intimidate you to hurt them. They want you to hurt them. If I had pushed him, that would have been my guns, my licence, my life finished when it comes to this, and I'd done nothing wrong. The same person has pictures of himself in another country with handguns and auto rifles and so on and so forth, which are all on his Facebook. They're hunting for me every weekend. That's all they do. They look for me every weekend, every Saturday, every Sunday.
So when are they going to stop?
They've told me never, but they've asked me the same question, and mine's never. The reason why mine will be never a stop, whether it's me, you, or anybody else stood in that field, them geese have to be shot.
Just as things appeared to start going Barry's way, he was thrown into a state of confusion. A day after our interview, police sent him an ambiguous email saying the farmer had changed his mind and would not revoke permission for the aunties to go on his land to scare away geese, an apparent victory for the activists. Barry says the farmer did nothing of the sort and is angry and confused by repeated visits by police. This case, it seems, is still up in the air.
So there's about 100 birds there now. This is what the farmer's problem is.
Tough for Barry, and thank you, Ben, for that story. Next up, Ben's been in the East Midlands, where gangs of poachers with dogs and guns are going out at night and targeting any animal they see. Local landowners have had enough and are organising patrols. Ben talks to 2 of them.
These people are going out and non-selectively just wiping out everything they can come across, whether it's deer, young deer, badgers, anything that shines an eye back in a field at night time. If we do confront them, you're risking being on your own against 4 or 5 people that we know carry weapons. We found crossbow bolts. I mean, we've had instances where we've had guns hung out at windows at us as we're trying to block people in, waiting for a police response. You never know whether that gun's got its safety catch on. You never know whether the finger's on the trigger, it's pointing at you. It could go off at any time. We're relying on local farmers and individuals in the community to make sure if there's any issues, we've got backup.
They operate in big groups, mostly from the north, Yorkshire area, I think, is that right?
It's important to say we know a few local groups as well that are also into other crime.
A lot use the poaching aspect as a cover for burglary, thieving, and if they get caught poaching, they know they're only going to get a slap on the wrist, whereas if they get caught thieving, they know they'll be arrested.
And then it's a question of how far do you go, how far do you dare go to protect what's yours, or to protect the environment, protect the wildlife that you're managing. There's no repercussions for them even when they get caught.
They'll just say they took a wrong turn and then they were lost.
Yeah.
So they drove round and round in circles on a field,
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not seen as a serious crime, even if we tell them about the crop damage that's occurred, or we've seen them running dogs on a deer.
Here we are, boys.
I think a lot of it is about showing the dogs off and showing what their dogs are capable of, if they are in fact using dogs, which the majority of them are.
You're dealing with two groups of people, two sets of criminals, if you like. You've got your poachers, but we've also got the likes of the badger, people that dig the badgers out, they'll run a book, won't they? I'm told up to £5,000 will change hands on a decent badger dig at night. They'll get it all set up, and their mates will be in a pub, and it'll be on a laptop. Online betting.
On whether they'll get a badger or what?
On who'll kill the badgers once they've dug the badgers out.
The dogs?
Yes.
We've seen videos of deer being stamped to death, and they just laugh about it. You can hear them literally laughing over the videos. There's images on there of badgers, deer with a throat slit.
We'll take you one at a time once.
And yet we're all tarred with the same brush because that's what the public think we're doing. And I think field sports in general, or the field sports community in general, should be opening their eyes to what's actually happening at night time. We're going to be the ones being targeted for it from, well, what do you call them, animal rights charities or whatever, but it's just really bad PR for countryside managers, if you like, when it's not actually anything to do with us, and we're trying to police it ourselves at our own cost at busy times of the year.
It's the last thing you want at night.
You'd be doing 18-hour days back to back in a busy period, and then these jokers turn up, and that's the next 3 hours of your day gone. But there's landowners in the county that'll shut the curtains and pretend it's not happening, but then be moaning about the crop damage.
Some are single people on their own, others have got young families, they don't want reprisals, so you can understand why people don't get involved, but also you don't want to be a prisoner on your own property. We are managing to slowly get the word across that rural crime affects them, because while they're out poaching they are also looking for other targets, and the local villagers are, starting to get hit a little bit. Basically, we want people to be vigilant, and it is slowly working.
If you see crimes like this in the British countryside, you can report them to the police on the non-emergency number 101, or if there is a threat to life or property, you can use the emergency number 999. And to remind you that we make these films, we have hired Ben, thanks to you, the Field Sports Nation, thanks to the support we get from our viewers. And if you would like to help out with that, please pop over to our website. Link in the description below. It's fchannel/Fieldsports Lots of ways of doing that, and lots of goodies if you do. Now to the less stressful world of legal hunting and shooting sports on YouTube. It is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. TGS Outdoors asks the question, will steel shot ruin your barrels? They put the question to Nick Horton, what happens when you shoot steel shot without a shot cup? Thanks to Bill Kerr, who sends me one of his YouTube videos. He is shooting rats with homemade night vision in Northern Ireland. Lloyd Patterson met up with us at the British Shooting Show, where he's filming this piece about the Browning 725S. This is his review channel. Gundog trainer Christopher Upton lost his Corleone Gundogs channel on YouTube following a community strike. He's back with this channel called Charlie Tango 1. Thanks to viewer Ian for sending me a link to the Exodus Trail Cameras channel, which runs a series called White-tailed Cribs. The Exodus team travels across the USA to take a peek at white-tailed trophy rooms, this one in eastern Pennsylvania. East Cape Bushveld Hunting has put up a video to add to excitement about the hunting season this year. 2020 build-up shows hunting at its best and conservation at its finest. Great minds think alike, and Clayton Cummins of Umdende Safaris has done the same. This is Umdende Promo Video 2020. And finally, Buchanan Hunt's This Is Africa is now into Season 2, Episode 9 with Now That's a Buffalo Hunt, filmed in Zambia, thereafter a big buffalo bull. That's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the I symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Hope you enjoy those. Before we go, let's have a look at Fieldsports Ireland, which came out on Saturday. Jason Doyle stalks Seeker Hines alone in the Wicklow Mountains. It's not just a test of kit and shooting, but also his filming ability as he attempts to self-film the hunt in less than ideal weather.
So windy. Really difficult conditions.
Then he hands the rifle to his friend Daniel in even more savage conditions, which is lucky because it's a savage rifle. Get it? All in all, it's a dark and stormy introduction to Irish deer stalking. Click on the link to watch it. And that's it from us this week. If you haven't done so already, please pop over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can pop your email address into our register page and we'll contact you about this show, Fieldsports Britain. It's at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.